to my YouTube channel, Sterh everything. Wait. Ooh. Look everything. Guys, so I've been watching Finding Bongani Fassie. What a sad story. So I'm gonna review the whole season in 5 minutes. Okay, what happens in episode 1 is that we're introduced to Bongani, reintroduced, and he's talking about, what happened with him and his music career and his mom, just briefly, his mom, who his mom was, how his mom passed away, how that has affected him, etc. It was enough to entice you to want to watch the season, but not details. But trust me, the details came. Then in episode 2, we get introduced to Bongani's partner. Her name is Buhle. And they have 2 kids together. The firstborn is Brenda. I don't know who this is. I can't remember the secondborn child's name. They live in a very nice house. I thought that they bought it, but in episode 7, I think Chicco Twala says no, they're renting it. Then they start to talk about Brenda now. How she died. Buhle explains how their bond began because they both lost their moms relatively early, so they used that as something that to help them connect. Bongani speaks about how losing his mom actually traumatized him from a very young age. Till now he hasn't really healed from the trauma of losing his mom. He also alludes to the fact that people, allegedly Brenda's death was allegedly due to drugs, right? That was a publicized thing that people thought that Brenda died of drugs, allegedly. But Bongani clarifies that she didn't die of drugs. I don't know what she died of, but Bongani says she didn't die of drugs. And then they just talk about that, how her passing, he was not there. He had no control over what happened. Apparently someone switched off her life support machines, and he was not in agreement with that being done, and that really traumatized him. They also talk about how he has, had some issues with substance abuse, or that's where they start to introduce the issue of substance abuse. But then they also talk about Josie. Remember that group, Josie? What's with the attitude? What's with the attitude? Well, you gotta be rude, my baby. What's with the attitude, my baby? Remember? Man, I loved that group. I was so sad when they disbanded. I was happy that the group was forming because it was like Bongani Fassie is going to be known for more than being, Brenda Fassie's son, But then they disbanded and I got really hurt. Then they talk about Josie. And then Bongani actually goes to look for Ishmael, and Ishmael refuses to come downstairs to meet with him. Then they just show us some clips of some interviews with Dallas. They show up some clips with some producer, some white guy producer who was basically in charge of Josie. I'll look for his name and put it down here. And then they explain why the group basically disbanded. I get a first Crazy Lou left Josie. Then Basalabali 3, and it was Bongani, Ishmael, and Dallas. And then they did Was With the Attitude. And then Yo Kumnande, haha. Yo Kumnande. That group was a banger, my God. That group was nice. Okay, so they tell us why it disbanded. They show us a video clip of Dallas saying that it was difficult to work with certain individuals, but not really mentioning which certain individuals. And then they allude to the reason why the group broke up is because of Bongani, because Bongani was difficult to work with, and he wanted certain rights and privileges over the others. And then basically when he didn't get what he wanted, he left the group. They allude to that. Later on, that white guy that I told you about tells us a story about what happened. Oh, guys, the sun is disturbing me. Stop it. Right. Later on, they explain what happened with the group and Bongani everything. Alright. Okay, so after they talk about the group Josie disbanding, they now start to talk about, Brenda. So Bongani goes to Cape Town. He was just visiting, and he visits with his cousins and, with his aunts and uncles. And they start to talk about what actually happened to Brenda and her money and all of that. Then Messi Phakela is there. Also, there's one episode with Messi Phakela where Messi Phakela talks about how much Brenda, was making a lot of money for a lot of people, including that white guy's name is Lance. Can't remember his name. Including Lance, including Chicco. Messi Phakela there alludes, allegedly that, Lance was basically Mr. Dititifazi. He was basically Mr. Dititifazi. And a lot of the artists that are addicted to Ditifazis that were in his label, he introduced them to Dititifazi. Including Bongani. Not me. The show. Okay? Yeah, so they talk there about this is Messi Phakela, about how much, even though Bongani got 10 million, that there's probably lots more. Not 10 million. Was it 10 million? There's probably lots more where that came from, because Brenda was very rich and Brenda had a lot of money. Chicco must say where the money is. Then Kuli Roberts comes up Lena there. She's saying, Unati said that she owed her money, but where's the receipts that Unati actually gave her the money? And in the same way, where's the receipts that Chicco actually gave Bongani the money? But neither Chicco nor Bongani are denying the fact that Chicco gave Bongani the money. So Chicco Twala says that he not the masters, but they got some royalties from somewhere and some proceeds, and they saved all of that money up after Brenda died, because after Brenda died, the sales of her albums shot up. So they took all of that money that they got and they saved it and they gave it to Bongani, and it was about 10 million, right? Then Bongani was advised by a certain group of people that he should pursue Chicco, and that 10 million is probably, there's probably more where that came from. There was probably 100 million. So Bongani spent about 8 million of that money paying lawyers, going to court, trying to sue Chicco, and I think Chicco, trying to sue Chicco to get more money, but that didn't go anywhere. He just lost all of his money because the lawyers exploited him, allegedly, and took his money and ran with it. And but asala asna sente not asna sente. I think there was only like 2 million left or 1 million left from 10 million to 2 million that you spent just on lawyers. But when you're ignorant, people will take advantage of your ignorance. That's why those of us who have to work for money, we should thank God, because once we have those millions, God willing, we will have known exactly how hard we had to work to attain them. I've never heard how Oprah had to pay anybody $8 million in a lawsuit. Money that you work for, that you earn, that doesn't come like this. But people will always lie to you and say, yeah, you can get more. Sometimes meharo is not a good thing, guys. If you get 10 million, say thank you, Lord, for 10 million. Don't always try to get 20 million, especially if it sounds like it's going to be a quick thing or a scheme. No, don't. Be satisfied. Be satisfied with what you have. Yes, invest. You can't lose money if you make sensible investments. Luana, don't invest 2 million in a fund that sometimes loses money. Don't do those things. Buy gold, buy diamonds, buy oil, buy property, make smart investment decisions. If you have 10 million, take 1 million and chow it. Buy McDonald's, eat it. Eat it. Then the other 1 million, put it very far away where you'll never find it. Save it for a rainy day. Then the other 1 million, put it in a risky fund. Then the other one, put it in a safe fund. Then buy gold. Buy, do different things. That's what I'm trying to say. But people take advantage, eh? Anyway, so they explain that story with Chicco, that Bongani sued Chicco. He didn't win. He lost about 8 million of the money that his mom left him. First of all, can we please give a big shout out to my umadlomo, uyem zondwa? Can we just give a high five to my for making sure that she leaves something for her child? You can call her anything. You can call her drug addict. You can call her whatever, but she left something for her kid. That's very responsible. Okay, she didn't teach her kid how to deal with money, but she did the best she could with what she knew how to. Lena, she didn't know how to deal with money, but geez Louise. And can we also give a big shout out to still Chicco Twala for doing the right thing with Brenda's monies and not just pocketing everything and not being greedy. I'm sure there's something that you pocketed. Okay, I'm not sure. By I'm sure, I mean I'm not sure. I'm just saying, maybe there's something. Obviously, because you are also a producer, you also made the music, so there's also some money that probably is due to you. Kudos to you. But thank you for not being greedy. Thank you, Mr. Silo Chicco Twala, for not being greedy and for giving Bongani monies. Right? Hase ba bangata. Some people chow people's money. Some people make people like doms, really, in a very bad way. But you know what? God does not faga short pen. You'll be blessed for that. Really. Anyway, so the Chicco thing, fate. Messi Phakela Leona, her storyline kind of just faded in the middle of nowhere. Then, guys, I was still young, so I don't remember, but I'll find her picture and I'll put it here. This lady, okay? This lady was Brenda Fassie's girlfriend back in the day, allegedly. And guys, they gave us an update of her life. She's living somewhere in Hillbrow. She looks so this lady was an actress, well known. I think she was on Generations. And now to see her in the condition that she's in, guys, it's so funny how at one moment you can be on top of the world and then the next moment you can be nowhere. But hey, we just pray for her. We pray for blessings. So now they talk about how this woman, Bongani, alleges that this lady wanted to molest him. And this lady's defense is that it was as per instruction. She says that Brenda wanted her to make a child with Bongani. Something nonsensical like that, guys. It really didn't make sense. But yeah, that lady is there in the show, and then she also talks about that part. Bongani confronts her that this happened between the two of us, and she doesn't deny it, but she gives some type of excuse that doesn't really make sense to me, that I don't understand. And you'll be surprised, guys, you'll be surprised at just how many stories like these there are of women molesting or hurting kids, and it's just such an unfair thing to experience. And I don't blame Bongani for being traumatized. I highly doubt that Brenda would have ever done that to her child. But wow, people are going through things out there. You know, sometimes we see celebrities on TV and siyabangcoma, rabakhala, and all of those things, but we don't know what people are going through behind closed doors, and we don't know what it costs them to be them, you know. So that really touched my heart to hear that he went through that, and then to hear that lady's response, and then to see the condition that she's in. Like, it's just such a painful thing to see that I wish I didn't see. All right, so Bongani goes to Cape Town and he confronts his uncles, Uncle Temba. We all have an Uncle Temba and his two aunts. Bongani's two aunts look like they're very soft people, very kind-hearted, very humble people. I don't know them, but that's what the sense that I've got from watching the show. So Bongani wants to confront Uncle. So they go to Brenda's gravesite and they pray and they sing. And apparently there's one Malume that passed away, wa Bongani, and he was very close to Bongani. So Bongani goes to the gravesite. Guys, the whole season, Bongani is doing the weirdest things, the most erratic behavior. He's incoherent at times. You can't understand his train of thought or what he's saying. He just seems so Bongani Fassie, right? The whole season, that's what I saw. He's very touch and go, you know. For me, it was very, you know, it was very weird. So Bongani then goes there and then he tries to confront his uncle about what happened to Brenda, who pulled, you know, who switched off the machine, what happened to the monies, what were the funeral arrangements. So they never really got to the crux of what Bongani was trying to ask, and they never really got an answer either, that, you know, this is what happened to the money. The answer that they got was from Lindi Fassie, Brenda Fassie's younger sister, and she's the one who switched off the life support machine. Yeah, Brenda Fassie. And she doesn't really explain why. She says that the doctor said that she was going to be a vegetable, and she said that she's fine. If she's a vegetable, she'll take care of her sister no matter what. But the doctors were insisting that, you know, she should switch off, so she felt like she's under pressure, and she finally made the decision to switch off the machine, which I understand. You know, sometimes when a situation is warm, when a situation is hot, you end up making a decision on the spot, thinking that that's the right decision. But there's no time, or especially medical situations, they don't give you a time to walk away and then detach yourself from the situation, then revisit the situation. They want an answer there and then, now, decide now. And I found that in the medical profession that happens a lot. Sometimes because the situation is a life and death situation. Sometimes because the resources are limited, you know, and they want to make space for someone that they can save at the expense of your loved one. It happens. So she made that decision. I feel like she felt so terribly about it. She looked so sad, even just to talk about it. So Bongani got the answer to what happened to his mom. His mom was on a life support machine and someone switched it off, and that person was Aunt Lindi. And Bongani really had a great relationship with Aunt Lindi and loved Aunt Lindi, and I loved Aunt Lindi by watching as well. Then later on in the season, we find out that Aunt Lindi passed away during the taping of this reality show. Then they have to bury her. Then they contacted Chicco Twala again, and Chicco Twala donated some money. Bongani sent the money through, allegedly, to Uncle Temba, and then the money, nobody knows what happened. Allegedly. But then, bo Uncle Temba out there, bo Uncle and Aunt Temba. But then, it's quite sad. But yeah, they are able to bury Aunt Lindi, and then, yeah. So that was last week, in last week's episode. This week, the final episode. Bongani and his girlfriend go to a party by the next door neighbor. I can't remember if the next door neighbor's name is Spooky or Spiky or something of the sort. They show us videos there. Bongani is undressed. He's there in his underpene dancing in the hotel room. They show us this girl. She's the Bongani's wife or girlfriend, Buhle. She's busy kissing other girls there. Which is fine. I mean, if you want to kiss girls, it's fine. But on camera, and now you are there in your underwear, Bongani Fassie, and Buhle, you are not causing go, and you guys. So it was just that situation where they went to a party, and they basically, I don't know, but they seemed out of sorts. They didn't seem together with their minds. So they were there, and then they did the party, blah blah blah, yeah, fela here. Then at the end of the episode, after the party, so after the party, Bongani then meets with his guy friends that were at the party, because he wants to confront one of the guy friends that he strangled Buhle. And then the guy friend wapiga mo, no, I didn't strangle Buhle. When you are drunk, this is what the guy said, when you are drunk, you see things, or when you are high, something like that, you see things or you hear things that are not there, and you need to go to rehab. So he says, no, I'm not gonna go to rehab. If I go to rehab, you go to rehab with me, let's go together. And the guy say no. So Bongani says, Skato Papa, you use ecstasy. Bongani is talking to his friends, and the friends are like, yeah, but we drink 1 or 2, when you drink 4 or 8, or even sometimes the whole bottle. You need help. The kettle calling the pot black. The pot calling the kettle black. So when you need help, because when you overdo it, first of all, I don't think that there's anyone with an addiction who is ready to admit that, listen, I have a problem. That's why drugs are a problem, because you can think that you have it under control, but you, especially if you're a traumatized, broken person, you'll always be chasing relief. So if the drug gives you relief, you'll always be chasing that feeling of, I just want to feel relieved. So a person who's watching you will think, oh no, you have a problem, you are abusing drugs. And then when at the same time your thought is, I'm not abusing drugs, I just want relief from the pain that I'm feeling. But you have to find a different way to get relief from the pain that you're feeling, because the drug is a drug. It messes with your mind. So whatever relief you're feeling is not real. It's a temporary pause. It makes your mind stop at that moment for you to feel that relief, but it's not real life. Because after that moment and the drug has come out of your system, you still have to deal with the things that are causing you pain. So it's better to deal with the problem than to try to find something that will provide temporary relief and numb you off of that pain, in my view. So the way that I see it is that Bongani is not stupid, and he's not unaware of his traumas, because he always references them in his interviews on this show. But the way that they were coming at him, like, no, you have a problem, we don't have a problem, and stuff like that, for me came across like they're not addressing the correct problem. They're addressing the fact that he overdoes it, but they're not addressing why is he overdoing it, and as a friend to someone who you can see, especially if you're doing drugs with him, and you know the feeling, and you also like the feeling, you also like chasing the feeling, you see nothing wrong with getting that feeling, now you want to tell him to stop because he's overdoing it when you are doing it too. Let's all stop then. No, we don't want to stop because we don't overdo it, you overdo it. You see what I'm trying to say? It's a very slippery slope that they were trying to climb there. But at the end of the day, Bongani signed himself into a rehab. facility, and I really hope that he stays in that rehab facility and that he gets clean, and that, because I think he's so talented, he can play keyboard. In the show, in the season, they also tell us like who's his dad. His dad was part of the band that Brenda was playing with. He doesn't know his dad, didn't have a relationship with his dad. His dad also passed away. So there are a lot of things that are going on with Bongani Fassie, and my prayer and my hope for him is that he gets someone like Chicco Twala who will devote themselves to his rehabilitation wholeheartedly, like a parent would. Not even a parent would, like just someone that God sends for him, who will just be there for him and help him realize his potential, train him in music, train him in production, help him to keep discipline, treat him like a person who needs supervision. Something else that I really noticed about the show is sometimes a person's addiction is not necessarily to a substance, but it's to a person who's not good for them. And even in the show, Buhle's sister, no, Buhle's aunt was on they were interviewing her, and she mentioned something along those lines, that they're very destructive for one another and abusive to one another. And you can find sometimes that you're addicted to a person, and then when you are with this person, you do things that are destructive for your life. And if you want to carry on, or you want to pursue a better avenue or a better channel for your life, then you would need to separate from this person who makes this type of lifestyle that you're living enjoyable to you. Even though you can see, this is not life, but you still want to live this life because you're with this person, and you and this person together, this is the only type of life that provides relief for you, and this person gets it. But that relief is not real living, So I definitely think that Buhle and Bongani have that type of relationship where they are not good together. I don't think that they're good together. I think that they influence each other in a negative, and I wish that they were, because Buhle is beautiful and I love Bongani. It's hot, but it's because he has a Lomo in him and I have a Lomo in me. I think the Lomos are communicating. So I love Bongani's heart, but I really do think that his relationship with Buhle is not going to get him where he wants to go. At the end of the day, point blank, period. So yeah, my thoughts and prayers. But this situation reminds me of Mampimcha and Babes. Not saying anything, just saying I'm gonna do a video about Mampincha and Babes disaster wodum, aka Utando Lodum, but disaster wodum. I'm gonna do a video about that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, Bomalavo. Until next time, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave your comments. What did you guys think about finding Bongani Fassie? Was it as much of a train wreck to you as it was to me? I don't know. Askulum, let's talk. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, Bomalavo. Bye.